The last couple of videos I made, I used one thing I generally didn't before that. I would press Control and backtick in my Visual Studio Code editor, and I would get this terminal here. I would usually also have an index.js file here with some code. Let's write something. And I would run it by going to the terminal down here and typing node and the name of the file. Up until now I haven't really talked about this thing in depth because we really didn't need it, but in order to create more complex applications and projects, something that would be something you would actually gladly showcase to any potential employer or maybe a friend, parent, who knows, we would need Node installed on our machines. Now, Node by itself is what is commonly referred to as, and I'll pull up the browser here, an asynchronous event-driven JavaScript runtime, which is basically what that means is asynchronous, that the code can be executed using promises, async await, maybe callbacks. Event-driven, meaning that we can use events inside of it, like something like this, for example. And JavaScript runtime means that it supports executing JavaScript code. So what all of this means basically is that we can run complete JavaScript code on our machines. And that's what makes Node.js really useful, is that we can also make backend code on our machines, store them there, and run them without the help of any browser, which was quite revolutionary back in the day when Node.js was invented. So something else that Node.js allows us to do, which the browser JavaScript version doesn't, is to generally interact with various parts of the computer system. So if I just come here to docs, and let's just check the latest one, there's a lot of stuff that we can do here with the built-in Node packages easily, which we would definitely have a hard time trying to achieve on the web, or may not achieve at all in some cases. Like in the case of this path thing, or path module, which works with file paths, but we are not allowed to have actual file paths on the browser because that's a major security vulnerability, for example. We also have additional utilities like streaming here, decoding and encoding strings, read-eval print loop, which is basically the interpreter for JavaScript, basically akin to running Node in the terminal and writing anything like console.log x, exiting of course with process.exit, and that's it. So yeah, Node.js on its own does quite a bit and allows us to run code on the server, but Node.js, along with all of these packages, is quite a different beast entirely, especially the file system and events errors as well, which are some of the more important things to get in touch with, as well as the child processes here as well. But of course, I won't be going into depth on any one of these because, well, here's the Node.js.org link for this documentation. You can basically just go there and check anything you need. I'll also link it in the description below, make it easier. Now, what I'm going to do uh, against my better judgment is actually go to Node.js and actually download and install one of these packages. Now, I already have a Node installed and I'll check the version to see what it is. It's 18.12. Uh, Here you can choose between two versions, like the latest stable one, which is 18.6.1, so I should definitely update, or the current one with the latest features, which is 20.3.1, which is of course experimental, might cause some bugs and glitches in the code because it hasn't been thoroughly tested enough to be the latest stable one. I'll click here. Of course, if you have a different operating system, uh, well, it should have already determined your OS, and I've been given the download files for Windows with a 64 bit, but you might be using something else, in which case it'll either uh, detect your operating system or you'll be given various different links from where you will choose one of yours. So I'll save this in downloads. Okay, it's done. Now we'll go there and just install the new node. Okay. And I'll stop the recording for now. So after it did its computing, I'm allowed to click next. That's where I'll go. Of course, standard stuff, reading through the license agreement, blah blah blah, choosing the destination folder, which you should definitely leave, well, for the most part, leave as the default. Next. Now the most important thing here is to definitely add to path. That has to be installed, and Node.js runtime with event tracing. Okay. Core pack manager, npm package manager, which is definitely something we will get into. Online documentation shortcuts. Okay. You can check various things here, among others, disk usage. I can easily afford the memory space. Automatically install necessary tools, blah blah blah. But this thing, when we check it, will actually prompt us to, well, restart the machine. Or I think the machine will be restarted anyways for the node setup. But all in all, I've already been through the node installation and I do already have the necessary tools, so I will not require them. But for you, the best thing to do is to definitely check this thing, which will also install Chocolatey, which is a package manager that helps install packages on Windows through the command line or the terminal. Next, and by just clicking install, it would install the Node.js, and that's basically it. However, I will exit the installation because I already have Node.js on my machine. Moving on to the text editor, there's something else to talk about, and that's the two other keywords which can be used in the terminal, and that's npm and npx, and this one. So npm is generally used as a package manager command, whereas npx is used for executing said commands. Now, one important thing to do with npm before anything is, I mean, after using it for a little while, is to do an npm list g to see all the global packages which have been installed. And I'll go through some here. Now, whenever we install global packages, meaning like the whole machine level, we can use all of these commands from wherever in the project. But if we install the dependencies, what is referred to as locally, we would get a folder here called node modules, and in that folder we would have all the dependencies that we required. But before anything, in order to create a project, there is one command we have to execute, and that is the npm init-y command, which will create a package.json file in this folder. Yeah, here it is. It's basically a package file, and it contains information about the packages. Okay, I'll clear this. And I will now install some packages. Let me think. So there's this one interesting package which is called Moment. It's basically a utility that helps us work with dates, and I will install that one. Moment. And now I will get a folder here, a directory called node_modules. Here it is. And if we open it up, it contains all the packages needed to execute the project inside of it. Here it is. I mean, it's just the one package, which is listed here, along with its current version. Another thing cool with package.json is that we can assign names to commands. So I'll create another command here. I'll call it start, and it'll be node index.js, and I'll save this. Now from here, I don't have to write node and then index.js, especially because of the way the package.json interacts with the project. I can just write npm run start here, and it'll do exactly the same. Yeah, here it is. It takes a little while. My computer has been running a bit slowly, but there it is. Also, if the command is named start or test, we can also omit the run command. So npm start is more than enough, and also npm test, which will throw an error, like no test specified. This is what should happen. Yeah. So that is how the scripts generally interact with the package as a whole. There are a couple of other interesting things, and that's, well, first of all, let's use the package we've just installed. So I'll import moment from moment. I mean, once we've already installed it, I guess we might as well use it. Let's just call the moment dot calendar function here. And there are two more special variables which we do get access to in Node.js and don't get access to on the browser. and those are the directory name, which is this variable, underscore underscore their name. This will give us the path of the directory this file is in, and there's also the file name variable, which will give us the path along with the file name. Save and run with the npm start because we have a script now, and see what happens. Oops. Oh, moment. We'll do it like this then. Require. Oops. Depends on the syntax we use, but this should work right now. Yeah, perfect. So the directory name gives us everything up until here. The name of the folder, everything's inside, while the file name also adds the name of the file at the end of it. So I'd say that's it. Thanks for watching.